Hi friends, today we'll discuss about the deployment of ADF into WebLogic server. The deployment of an ADF application to WebLogic server can be done in two ways. First, it can be done directly from the jdeveloper. It will be deployed onto the standalone WebLogic server, and it can be done directly from the jdeveloper itself. So you don't need to create any files for that separately. Everything will be automated in this case. But the second option is to create. Let me note it down so that it will be better to understand. First deployment option is directly from the jdeveloper. Second deployment option is create the files manually and deploy through the FMW Fusion middleware console. From the FMW console, or you can say WebLogic server console, you have to deploy, which will be a manual. So in directly from jdeveloper, what happens? The var and here var and EAR files are created automatically and deployed to the server directly. But here you have to create them manually. Create the EAR file manually and deploy through the console following steps. There are 4-5 steps which you have to follow through the deployment screen of the FMW console. So what is a WAR file and what is EAR file? WAR file is the web archive file. It contains the jar file, the jar file which has dot class files of all the Java coding you have done in the application. Those will be inside the jar file. The pages, JSF pages, the task flows, all those stuffs are in the WAR file. So the combination of jar and all the page components will comprise of a WAR file, and the WAR file is specific to a project. So inside one application you can have multiple projects. So every project will have one WAR file. Then you have EAR file, that is the enterprise archive. So this enterprise archive, so this will have WAR plus additional stuffs, additional things which are the DP connection, server address where it is going to be deployed, port, all those connection specific details will be here in the EAR file. So while deploying from first step, the EAR file will be created automatically, and it will be deployed onto the WebLogic server, standalone WebLogic server automatically through the server connection which we would have given. But in the second type of deployment, you have to create the EAR file and then you have to go to the console and deploy it manually. So let's see how it works. So this is the console from where you can do manual deployment. This is the login password. Let's log in. will take few minutes to log in. Okay, till the time it connects, you can come to jdeveloper, and I will show you where the server connection I have done for deploying directly the application from the jdeveloper. That can be that I can show you now. So that is in the view application server navigator. Here you can see I have already created a domain name, the WebLogic server domain name. Let's see the properties, how it is created. Name and type, base domain, WebLogic 10.3 you have to choose. Authentication, the username and password. Configuration, port is 7001. Test, let's test this connection if it is up or not. Everything is success. So the WebLogic, the connection to the standalone WebLogic server is working fine, and even the console is also up. So that means the WebLogic server is up. That's why this console page is also opening. Otherwise this would not have started. So this is the console page. Here you can see there is a deployment section is there. Click on the deployment. So you can see there are the objects which are going to be deployed or already deployed. The health, okay, suggest these are already deployed. Let's first go one by one. Let's do the first type of deployment here. So this is a simple object. I will showcase you the file. It has nothing, it has just a parent child relationship of employee department table. Let me run it. Okay, this has already URL is there. I think it is running now. So it will not open. Let's wait for some time. Let it complete. Okay, deployment is completed and the page is opening. Yeah, so this is a simple parent-child relationship deployment application. This is inside my VMware machine, so it is a bit slow here. You can see this is a simple application of parent-child relationship. So let's deploy. So to deploy, go to the application. It is running again. Let's wait. Let's wait for the deployment to enterprise WebLogic server completes. So guys, the enterprise WebLogic server means it is the instance of the standalone WebLogic server. Integrated WebLogic server means it is just an instance of the standalone WebLogic server to test our application in runtime. So this is deployed to the integrated WebLogic server when we do a right click run on a JSP page. So that is deployed to a integrated WebLogic server. But integrated WebLogic server deployment is not a permanent deployment. That is just a session specific deployment. After few time the session will expire. So to get a permanent deployment onto the server, we will do the deployment to the standalone WebLogic server, which we are discussing right now. Okay, so let's go to application, deploy. This is the application name which I have given, master detail application. Deploy to the application server. But if you are going to give the EAR file to the suppose you have a release team and you are the developer, and release team will take care of the deployment in various instances, because in real-time environment there will be development instance, QA instance, UAT instance, stage instance, then the production instance. So a developer will not have access to all those instances, so you cannot deploy directly from the jdeveloper application at that time. So you have to create a EAR file. So to create the your EAR file, you will choose this deploy to EAR. So the all the deployment instructions will be captured in the EAR file and zipped in the EAR file. So then you have to just give the zip file to the release team, who will do the deployment in various instances. But suppose you are doing the development in your development instance and you want to directly deploy to a development instance, then you can do deploy to application server. Next, override modules of the same name I have checked. So if anything already deployed and you are doing some change, then you can again redeploy. And integrated, we are deploying onto the base domain, the standalone WebLogic server, not the integrated one. When you run it, it is automatically deployed to the integrated WebLogic server. Deploy to all instances in the domain. Deploy as a standalone application. This is the deployment summary. Then finish. You can see here it should be updated. This was not yet started running. Yeah, here you can see the deployment message. Deployment started. Target platform is WebLogic 10.3. Running the dependency analysis, then it is building. So let's see what all steps it is taking for the deployment. deploying the two profiles. Okay, deployment is in progress. Let's go to the console page and see if it is showing here or not in the deployment screen. This is the master detail application. It is showing okay here. Let's open what are there. Okay, it is already finished. That's why it is showing deployment is state health is okay. Let's go inside this. Let's see the components. Let's go inside this. And once it is deployed, then what is the difference? How we'll know it is deployed? So to know that, you can simply go to the, let's see first what all things are here. You can see the path is mentioned, application name, the deployment plan is also there, the resource dependencies. If you have multiple projects, then which is the master project and what are the dependent projects, those will be defined here. Configuration, these are the server settings. Security, no security. Targets, this is the JDBC connection which we have given in our jdeveloper, that is copied to here. Control, this is the testing. I don't think this is going to work because the URL is 192.5.1. Monitoring, health is okay, that means it is deployed correctly. So how can we know this is deployed correctly? Of course there is a way to go to WebLogic server and go to FMW enterprise application, and there you can see your application running on a web page, but I don't have FMW enterprise installed on my system. So how can we be sure that this is deployed? So just run it. see in integrated logic server if it is getting deployed or not. I think it is running. It is now deploying the application to the integrated logic server. So this port 7101 is our enterprise web logic server port. But if you do 7001, that is the standalone web logic server port. So if you do 7001 and click enter, then also this page should open. So that shows this is already deployed to the server. So that is the way you can test it, guys, if it is deployed or not. See, it is opening, so that means it is deployed to the standalone WebLogic server. Otherwise 7001 port, this application should not have been there. If it is opening means it is already deployed. So we are good in terms of deployment now. Now just let me showcase you how to create a EAR file, or where to modify the already created EAR file. Go to application, application properties, deployment. Here you can see the EAR file. You can add a new EAR file or edit. Let's see its properties, application assembly. You can see the JPR file already added here. Here you can add the WAR file also if it is required. So this is the EAR file which is automatically created. You don't need to configure anything. So while giving the EAR file to the release team or any other team, you can do the deployment to the EAR instead of doing deployment to the server. So that is the only option you have to choose to create a EAR file. Similarly, the project WAR file also you can see. Go to project, right click, project properties, deployment. This is the, there is no WAR file, you can create a new WAR file also. WAR file. If you have multiple projects, then it is required to create WAR file. It is, the description is written, creates a profile for the deploying the Java EE web module WAR, that is the WAR web archive, as I told you, to an application server. WAR consists of the web components and the corresponding deployment descriptors. So WAR also has the deployment descriptors, EAR also has the deployment descriptors, but EAR is just the parent set of WAR. So WAR is a subset of EAR. Similarly, JAR is a subset of WAR. So that is the relationship between JAR, WAR and EAR. So this is the overall deployment process to WebLogic server of a ADF application. So now we want to discuss, we'll discuss how ADF integrates to EBS. Since EBS is the enterprise business suite, so we would want our web pages which are built in ADF and the application which is built in ADF to be incorporated to EBS. So is that possible, and how can that be done? Let's discuss. Yeah, so here I have noted down in the Word document, if ADF deployment process to EBS. This is strictly as per the Metalink, Oracle Metalink doc ID number 1296491.1. So as per this document, you can see this is applicable to only release 12.1.3 and upwards. So any Oracle application EBS release below 12.1.3 are not incorporated to direct plugin with ADF. So ADF cannot be directly plug in with Oracle EBS which has a release below 12.1.3. So regardless of so this is the steps which are there which should be followed to integrate an ADF application to EBS server and open the ADF forms inside EBS application modules. Okay, so the first step is the ADF application must be located on a separate application tab server machine from the Oracle eBusiness Suite application server. The ADF application is deployed using Oracle WebLogic Server 11G or another appropriate application server. So the servers are different. EBS server is different, ADF server is the WebLogic server, and that is 11G also. In Oracle EBS, there is a profile option. Name is FND external ADF rule. So this profile option should have the value of your WebLogic server root address of that application, and you can set this profile option at application level, responsibility level, or user level, or site level also. But since you will be deploying many applications, so you cannot use the consume the profile option at site level. So only if you use it at site level, then the profile option value will have only one URL. So multiple applications can be used at multiple responsibilities level, or user level also you can use by using this profile option. So once you have set the URL in the profile option, then you have to create a function of type ADFX function type. ADFX function type means ADF extension function type. So you can create that function type, and in the HTML call you have to give the page name now. This is the application root name, then the page name. For example, this is target page. So after that you have to go on the standard Oracle functionalities, create the after creating the function, register it into a menu or sub menu, and then apply the appropriate roles, responsibility and grants. So then you can see the web page in eBusiness Suite and run it. You can also call your function from, and if you don't have all these things and you are using a lower version of Oracle application, then you can embed your ADF application inside a OF page and call that OF page as per the standard functionality. So if you have a Oracle application 12.1.3 below version application, then you can create a ADF application and embed it inside OF framework page, and then call the OF framework page as you used to call from EBS. EBS is very much has a very much good scope of built-in with OF rather than ADF. So better to embed the ADF page inside OF and call it from EBS. So in this document I have mentioned all the steps of deployment one by one, so it won't be a big task. This is the deployment step from the console. So in the console you have to go to the deployment, then install the EAR file, and then install this deployment as an application, activate the changes, it should be done. Start the application by starting on the start button. So the deployment should completed, and you can see the application in your WebLogic server. So guys, this completes the deployment portion of ADF application. Hope you have a good understanding of this. So to get more knowledge on this, you need to have a working standalone WebLogic server and a FMW Enterprise edition where you can see the application after deployment is done. And if you want to integrate into EBS, then you need to have a EBS instance which is 12.1.3 version upwards. So let me conclude this video. Thanks. Thank you.